Sri Lanka, which is where I come from, and it's a little island off the coast of India. And it is amazing because, interestingly, India is the big brother, very advanced, very economically advanced. However, the history of Sri Lanka is that India had a lot of social issues. There was, women were, second class, there were caste issues. So India had a very hierarchical system where each group of people, belonged to certain, sort of sex or groups or castes or genders and so on, and they were treated accordingly. And it turned out that a prince, one of the sons of the kings, had a real problem with this, and he began to revolt with a group of his friends. And they were banished on a ship, essentially sent out to sea, and they came to Sri Lanka because that's the closest island, and populated the island. And, and they were carrying on, and at the same time, India is very Hindu. There was Hinduism, which is a fascinating religion, especially for the arts and so on. But once again, entrenched in that caste system and so on. And then the Prince Siddhartha, another prince, revolted against that, forming Buddhism. And he was not popular in India because it was against the grain. But when he came to Sri Lanka, he was embraced. So most of the Sri Lankans tend to be Buddhist. But with that religion, it's not really a religion, it's, philosophy. And I feel like it's most appropriate in the States because, it's really a lot like, very modern. And what it was unusual is we were in a region where women, were not, considered equal, in a country where women were. So growing up, my mom and dad, were equal, basically. Like I said, of course, we still had the cultural, impacts where women kind of didn't go to college, in the sciences and so on. They went to college, but not the sciences. There was sort of certain biases. But, and at the same time, we had the first woman prime minister in the entire world, Sirimava Bandaranaike. Indira Gandhi followed. And so growing up, I had no idea that we were supposed to be any lesser, right? And I remember sitting when we came to Chicago for our postdocs, talking to a group of, people, in America. And they asked, well, how is it, for women in Sri Lanka? And I said, no problem, we are really progressive. And then my dad stopped me and said, you have to realize that in a minority of homes, and you were fortunate to be in one of them. But at the same time, that's because the culture still followed. But there was an overarching difference in Sri Lanka from the rest of the region, in the sense that the thinking was very modern, and there was no the caste and gender issues were much less. And when I came to the States, I instantly felt at home, like I have never felt foreign here. And I think it's also in large part because it's a great place because of diversity, but also because Sri Lanka was so modern.